The Cyberpunk TCG just fixed some of its biggest flaws, and honestly, I think the game feels so much better because of it. My name is Steph from Response on Play, and today I am joined by James, also from Response on Play. We are going to be breaking down 3 massive rule changes that just dropped for the Cyberpunk TCG. We're going to tell you what they are, why they matter, and how we feel about them. Now, if you've seen Cyberpunk TCG gameplay in the past and been kind of on the fence about it based on what you've seen, I think these rule changes might change your mind. Thank you so much to WeirdCo for helping us bring you this video, and let's get into it.
First, they've changed the number of gigs that you need to win. Now, at the beginning of your turn, you have to hold on to 7 gigs instead of 6. The idea here being that it gives a chance for some of those slower, more control-focused decks to get back into the game without playing perfectly. Similarly, it makes those same defensive decks have to attack into their opponent rather than just hoarding their own 6 dice. With the 7th gig dice required, it'll also prolong the game long enough that you'll get more chances to play some of those splashier cards like Atom Smasher that feel so cool to play. Congrats to all those Stompy enjoyers out there.
To call a legend now, or in other words to flip it face up so that you can actually use it, you only have to pay 1 eddy instead of 2. The goal of this one is pretty similar to the last one. It's basically stopping players from getting rushed down off the table for not just playing to the lowest curve imaginable without ever even needing to call a legend. WeirdCo did say that they were hearing feedback from players that they really didn't want to spend the 2 eddies to flip a legend that they might not even need in that situation. They think this change is going to minimize the pain of flipping a legend and revealing it, only to find that it's suboptimal and you just paid 2 eddies for nothing. And it's just going to make calling a legend that much more attractive as an option in general. I mean, honestly, it's really hard to beat a 1-cost anything, and legends are pretty powerful.
The transition from fixed turn phases to an open main phase has really opened up a lot of opportunities for player expression and removed a lot of the guardrails that made it feel a little bit too restrictive. Players can now attack, sell eddies, and play cards in whatever order their heart desires. No more drawing cards off combat triggers and not being able to do anything with them. All those red draw cards are starting to feel a lot better.
We've been playing the Cyberpunk TCG for quite a while already, and we really already know what the old rule set felt like. But before filming this video, we actually sat down and we played a full 3-game set with the new rules. We wanted to be able to give you our immediate hands-on impressions fresh off the game with these new rules. We did play on the starter decks from the alpha kit, so they're a little bit basic, but it still did the job. I was playing on V and James was playing on Arasaka. So for the first rule change where you need 7 gigs to win instead of the typical 6, it absolutely had an effect on the game longevity. I mean, when it was just needing 6 to win, it was so easy to just get it set up early and just sweep with that. If you went first and you had units and you had blockers on board and you had floor it, you basically just win with pretty minimal effort and interaction.
There were a lot of times where the game would end at 6 gigs and I didn't really feel like there was a whole lot of back and forth or a lot of interaction because they just got one of my gigs set up with theirs and just blocked out, and I couldn't really interact with their board very much. But if I had an extra turn, then maybe I'd find some things that can kind of help with that.
Yeah, exactly. So drawing out the game a little more with those 7 gigs changed a couple things for us. The first, and like the most importantly, was just because the game went on a little bit longer, I didn't feel as pressured to drop my like mid to high cost units like Jackie Wells as soon as possible. I felt like I could take just like a little more time to like amass some more gigs, which will like buff up Jackie even more, and then I can like drop that bomb later on without being punished too much for committing the cardinal sin of wanting to set up my board.
Yeah, it definitely felt like I had time in the newer sets to use the powerful Arasaka units that I had access to because they have, you know, the plus damage gear and they are already kind of pretty strong and they get buffed by Saburo, that I was able to kind of attack into your units directly and kind of win that tempo race rather than just having to trade back and forth each turn just to kind of keep up. I felt, because I knew it wasn't going to end on 6, I felt like it was okay to kind of wipe your board and then protect my own rather than, like I was saying, just smack each other and see who gets there.
Yeah, it was very annoying. Worked for you, but it was annoying for me.
Yeah, and it also gave me a chance to maybe dig a little bit deeper through my deck with all the draw that deck has and find things like corporate surveillance to get past your blockers and maybe give me that edge as well.
Yep, you did do that. I remember that.
When it comes to changing the number of eddies needed to call your legends, going down from 2 to 1, this was a very welcome change. I mean, it was very clear that 2 was just too expensive. There were a lot of times where I either wouldn't pay the 2 because I'd rather play a unit, or I would pay the 2 and it just would flip over a legend that was not quite what I was looking for at the time. With 1, I didn't really feel that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same experience with the old rule. Like, I never really felt the urge to fish for legends just after that first reveal. Like, if my first reveal was like okay or workable, and all the legends are strong, so they're all pretty okay, I felt like I have 1 legend. Now I just need to get units on the board, and I just win. I mean, the game is already so fast, or it was, that it was so easy to just be like, I got 1 legend buffing me. My units are going to put in all the work. I don't really care about what those other flipped legends are. I just wanted to get things out and win, and I could. Especially if I went first.
With the new rule setup, you just have so many more options. You really don't have to choose anymore between playing a unit and calling a legend, because 1 is almost nothing. Most of the time, when you're playing out your cards, you'll end up with an incidental 1 eddy at the end of your turn, and rather than just letting it go to waste, you can use it to call your legend. Whereas when you had to hold up 2, it was pretty much like a conscious effort of, I have to hold up these 2 because I'm going to call a legend. And if you didn't get the one you wanted, it kind of felt bad to do that. Whereas when you're playing a unit, you know exactly what you're getting, and it feels good to play it. It also made it really easy to get all of your legends out almost every game, so that way your full game plan of your deck was online, which also felt much better. I wasn't ending the game, and 2 of my legends were unflipped, or were still flipped over, and I just didn't do anything with them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the legends, like, they're so powerful, like we've said. So, like, that 1 eddy cost is, like, super worth it. You want them every time. Like, paying that 1 instead of the 2, it lets you get it set up just so much faster, but like in a different way than just spamming out units. Like you said, it's this more like holistic, like, okay, this is what my deck is supposed to be doing because all of my legends are out. I'm not just operating off of 1 legend that's going to do things for all these units. That never really felt like the intent of what the game was supposed to be when we played with the old rule set for the starter decks. And with this new rule set and getting all these legends out, that feels more in line with what they were intending the Cyberpunk TCG deck experience to be like. Another cool thing that I noticed was in our games was just keeping that 1 eddy ready at the end of my turn. And then on your turn, when you were attacking me, as a response to that attack, you can actually pay an eddy to flip that legend and reveal it. Now, it was just for fun when we did it, because I didn't have any legends that did interactions on your turn, but it made me think in the future, when we get more cards revealed, there probably will be legends that have interactions like that on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, definitely. I also really like what you said a minute ago about how it felt like the experience. The whole point of the game is like you're supposed to be assembling your crew and running these gigs. And when my crew is so expensive that I'm not flipping half of them over most of the time, it doesn't really feel like I'm assembling a crew. And now at every game, I'm like, I've got my squad and we're getting gigs. So I really like that.
So the last change, giving us open turn phases, probably the best out of all of them, in my opinion. Older games, I kind of ended up feeling really railroaded and kind of stuck into doing things in this like precise order. And there really wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room to get creative on your turns.
Yeah, it's definitely opened things up a lot. For example, in the Arasaka deck, there are a lot of cards, both the legends and gear, that will draw you cards during combat. So before, you would draw your cards and it would immediately end your turn. So if you drew something cool, like a blocker that would prevent you, or that would protect you when you swing out and have no defenses left, you weren't able to play it. You just had it in your hand and had to go to the next turn. Now you can do that. You can draw. If you get something cool, you get to immediately play it to affect your board, and it just feels like the deck is coming together as like a true game plan rather than the cards drawing just being like an incidental reward for something you were already going to do anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much more opportunity to make plays and get creative, like I was saying. And also, I know this is bad. I know this is frowned upon. This is, you should not play like this. Probably everybody would tell you this. But I thought it was fun to kind of be able to play off the top of my deck, like you mentioned. So like sometimes I would make a play and I didn't really feel that great about it. And it was kind of just, I was throwing it out there. But then I would decide, so like I would attack, right? And then I would decide afterwards, actually, I just thought of a really cool line that I want to do. And so instead of saying like, well, okay, I guess I'm done because I attacked, that's my turn, I didn't really get to do anything else because I couldn't really think of it in time, or it just didn't come to me because I didn't see the card that I wanted off the top of my deck when I got to draw. I actually got to play out the rest of my turn, and I got to do the cool thing that I hadn't thought of before. Now, I know that that's not correct. It's not the right way to play. However, it was fun for me, and I do think having fun in card games is important.
I would say it is the most important. This change, we didn't really talk about it too much yet, but this change also fits really well with the street cred system as well, because there are a lot of things that say if you have a certain number of street cred, do a thing. Before, once you started your turn, drew your card, you'd gain a gig. And once you had gained that gig, you would know what your street cred would be out the turn, and there would be no way to change it. So if you didn't have enough to do your effect, then you just wouldn't be able to do it. But now, because we have that open turn structure, you can actually attack into someone and steal one of their gigs to increase your street cred. This actually happened in one of our games. I wanted to play the Armored Minotaur card, which says that if you have 12 or more street cred, you can defeat a rival unit that has power 5 or less. And I didn't have the street cred, but I was able to attack in, steal a gig, and then play the card and get the effect. So that alone was just a massive difference in the level of just player expression that you have throughout a turn, and is a humongous change in the benefit of the game.
Yeah, and I think you actually won that game. I think that was one of the two that you won. In case you guys were wondering, James did win on the Arasaka deck. He won the best of 3, unfortunately.
Yep. I mean, I went first.
I think the Minotaur was a big part of it for that game.
Yeah, it definitely helped. I was able to get rid of your unblockable attacker.
I'm not bitter about it, don't worry.
Overall, we're really happy with these changes. Based on the games that we played, the game feels a lot more open, dynamic, and complex. And we're getting that feeling with just the starter decks, so I can only imagine how much that's going to expand once we get more complex constructed decks that we put together ourselves. In this video, we focused on the 3 biggest changes, but there were a couple other smaller ones to things like the ready phase and the attack phase that we didn't have time to go into here. The full developer blog post will be listed in the description down below if you wanted to check those out and get the full information there. According to WeirdCo, these changes have been in the works for a while, and they've been waiting to show off new cards until they've rolled these out. So now that that's done, that means we get to see new cards, right?
So what do you gamers think about these changes? Do you think they'll have a positive impact on the game going forward? Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, drop us a like. If you want to see more from us in the future, and trust us, we plan to play an ungodly amount of Cyberpunk TCG when we get some more reveals, and especially when the sets fully drop later this year. Consider subscribing to us and ringing the notification bell, perhaps? But seriously, your support means quite a bit to us. And all of these things, commenting, liking, subscribing, getting notifications, it really does help. We're a very small channel, but we want to grow, and it helps us see what kind of videos you enjoy getting from us. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. I hope you enjoyed hearing our opinions. I hope that you try out the Cyberpunk TCG because we really like it. We're quite passionate about it, if you couldn't tell. And we'll see you next time.